Hello, and welcome to the video presentation of our paper with the title NurseCare, Design and in the Wild Evaluation of a Mobile System to Promote the Ergonomic Transfer of Patients. My name is Maximilian Dürr, and I'm presenting this work on behalf of my co-authors Carla Gröschel, Ulrike Pfeil, and Harald Reiterer. The main motivation of our work is that nursing care workers are highly affected by injuries from overexertion and work-related musculoskeletal disorders. Related injuries include problems of the back, neck, and shoulder. One major risk factor for related symptoms is the manual transfer and movement of patients. For example, a nurse might need to bring a patient into a sitting position, as shown in the video. In order to reduce negative health implications, various government-supported schools in Germany teach nursing care students about the transfer of patients based on kinesthetics. Kinesthetics is supposed to enable the transfer of patients so that the health development of nurses and patients is supported while injuries are avoided. However, the internalization and application of kinesthetics often fail. Usually, kinesthetics is taught in a basic course over 3 non-consecutive days. Unfortunately, after the course, the nurses are hardly provided with any support to apply kinesthetics as part of their daily work. So maybe it is an option to use a mobile system to address the existing shortcomings. When considering previous research, some previous work already indicated that mobile systems can be used to make aware of risky postures. However, to our knowledge, it was not investigated how nurses experience such a system when it is used during their daily work. Furthermore, only few previous work explored systems to support the conduct of ergonomic patient transfers. To our knowledge, there is no previous research that leveraged mobile technology to support the ergonomic transfer of patients directly during work. Our work contributes first by introducing NurseCare, a mobile system to promote the ergonomic transfer of patients during work, and second, we contribute by an in-the-wild evaluation in a clinical setting which investigates how nurses experience the support of NurseCare during work. So let's take a closer look at the key features of NurseCare first. NurseCare uses a wearable in form of a chest belt and a small sensor to track a user's posture. Nurses can wear the chest belt under their work clothes. After putting the chest belt on, nurses can connect the wearable to the NurseCare smartphone app. NurseCare supports nurses during their work practice. The mobile system provides nurses with mobile instructions for the conduct of patient transfers based on kinesthetics. When a nurse transfers a patient, NurseCare gives feedback related to the risky bending of the back. This in situ feedback is provided by a vibration of the smartphone. Based on the feedback, the nurses can correct their movement behavior. Finally, NurseCare provides nurses with long-term feedback to aid their reflection, for example, during breaks or at home. So how did we design NurseCare? Our design process was based on a previously conducted qualitative study. The results of the study provide a broad understanding of the targeted context with a focus on the learning process as part of nursing care students' education. To design NurseCare, we extended our broad understanding of the context with specifics about support during work. For this purpose, we conducted 2 workshops. The first workshop was conducted together with 5 nursing care students. Based on the results of this workshop, we identified different requirements that informed the design and implementation of NurseCare. The second workshop targeted the question how a mobile system may address the identified requirements in a way that supports the nurse's complex workflow. For this workshop, we combined the expertise of nurses with the expertise of computer science students. The results of the second workshop helped to clarify the system requirements and how they can be integrated into the nurse's daily workflow. Finally, guided by the insights from our workshops, we applied further UX design methods to develop the design and interaction concept of NurseCare. As part of this, we implemented a click-through prototype and evaluated it in a cognitive walkthrough. The analytical inspection helped to identify structural inconsistencies and to improve the design. Next, let's have a look at the in the wild evaluation of NurseCare in a clinical setting. To evaluate how well a system like NurseCare can address nurses' needs, we conducted a qualitative mixed methods user study in the wild. In our evaluation, 9 nursing care students used NurseCare for multiple days at home and at work. All of the participants had participated in a kinesthetics basic course during the first year of their education. Also, each of the participants used NurseCare at least during 3 consecutive work days, and the participants received €30 as compensation for their participation. Our study addressed the following research questions. Research question 1. Does a system like NurseCare provide a high user experience adequate for use in the nurse's complex work domain? Research question 2. To what extent can a system like NurseCare help to promote ergonomic work and the application of kinesthetics? And research question 3. Do nurses prefer a system like NurseCare compared to existing support and learning materials? Before continuing with our results, let's take a brief look at the procedure of the In the Wild study. For each participant, the study spanned over 5 days, and the In the Wild use was framed by 2 sessions, an introductory session on day 1 and a closing session on day 5. In the introductory session, the participants were asked to sign an informed consent, fill out a demographic questionnaire, and to fill a self-evaluation questionnaire. Following the initial session on day 1, the participants used NurseCare until day 5 during work and at home. During the In the Wild use, participants' usage times of the system were captured by logging. Additionally, the participants were asked to fill an electronic diary. Succeeding the In the Wild use on day 5, the participants filled the system usability scale, completed the self-evaluation questionnaire a second time, and filled the system evaluation questionnaire. Finally, we conducted a semi-structured interview. So let's continue by taking a look at some of our findings. Let's first consider research question 1. The results of the system usability scale indicate, with a mean score of 88.6, that the usability of NurseCare was perceived as excellent. Pointing into the same direction, the mean scores of the system evaluation questionnaire indicate that participants would, on average, agree to recommend NurseCare to a colleague, and that participants consider the integration of NurseCare in current practices as much desirable. As part of the semi-structured interview, the participants were asked about positive and negative aspects of the different features of NurseCare. The table provides an overview on the named aspects for the 3 key features: real-time feedback, long-term feedback, and mobile instructions. Overall, the participants named much more positive aspects compared to negative ones. However, the participants also mentioned some potential for improvement. For example, the participants reported that the vibrotactile feedback can be annoying in situations in which it is unavoidable to bend down. Finally, all participants felt that NurseCare was easy to embed in their work context. For example, P6 stated that NurseCare is really easy to integrate into everyday life. In summary, NurseCare provides a high subjective usability. The key features of NurseCare were experienced as mostly positive, and NurseCare was perceived as adequate to support nurses in their complex work domain. However, there's also still potential for improvement, for example, in regard to the in situ feedback during work. Next, let's take a closer look at some of the results in regard to research question 2. When considering how well NurseCare can promote the application of the kinesthetics care conception to facilitate ergonomic work, participants' responses in the diary and in the system evaluation questionnaire point into the same direction. Participants' ratings indicate that NurseCare could help them to pay more attention to ergonomic work. For example, P4 stated, "Often the feedback was correct, often it vibrated when I was at the same time realizing, now I am moving in an unhealthy way." Participants' ratings also indicate that NurseCare could help them to apply the kinesthetics care conception in practice. For example, P3 stated, "NurseCare actively helped me, especially moving the patient up, to once really work it out in a different manner than just pulling the patient up." However, when looking at participants' questionnaire responses for both the diary and the system evaluation questionnaire, the responses indicate that the support of NurseCare regarding ergonomic work is higher than regarding the application of the kinesthetics care conception. Participants confirmed this during the interview. They stated that they often rather applied simple ergonomic rules that are conveyed by NurseCare, like lifting the bed to a proper elevation for work, instead of complete kinesthetics-based patient transfers. In summary, NurseCare provides a high subjective support to promote ergonomic work, and NurseCare also provides a good but limited subjective support for the application of kinesthetics. Finally, let's take a look at some results related to research question 3. All participants reported that the current support and materials are very limited. For example, P5 stated, "Compared to current practices of support, to be honest, which practices?" So there is nearly no support to promote ergonomic patient transfers at present. Furthermore, all of the participants wished for a future integration of NurseCare to extend the support during their work practice. And the participants also expressed how NurseCare might be integrated and extended for use in nurses' daily work in the future. In conclusion, NurseCare provides a high user experience adequate to the nurse's work domain, a high subjective support to promote ergonomic work, and a good but limited subjective support for the application of kinesthetics. Furthermore, our results indicate how a system like NurseCare can be integrated into nurses' daily work in the future. Further details about NurseCare and the user study are explained in our paper, which is openly accessible. Eventually, all that remains is giving you an overview on the paper's references, which in part were also used for this talk. Thank you for watching.